Purport. All the demigods presented various gifts to King Prithu, for he, an incarnation of the Supreme Personality of God, known as Upendra in the heavenly planet, presented the king with the Sudarshan disc. It should be understood that this Sudarshan disc is not exactly the same type of Sudarshan disc used by the personality of Godhead Krishna or Vishnu. Since Maharaj Prithu was a partial representation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead's power, the Sudarshan disc given to him represented the partial power of the original Sudarshan disc. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Bhatapadakamam Shri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatan Vedam Tam Sajivam Sadaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Ladita Shri Vishakanditamscha Nama Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namane Namaste Sarasvate Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Krishna. So, the living entities may be sometimes giving special powers, but they never have the power of Krishna. Krishna possesses all power, and other living beings can only possess power to whatever extent Krishna blesses them with that power. Not that someone can be independently powerful like the scientists and the atheists think they can. They say everything came out of a big bang, and they put all these big theories. They just write big books, have big positions in big universities with big titles, and so many students studying their lectures and taking their exams. But no, nobody possesses the potency of Krishna. A very nice point here is that the Lord Brahma presented King Guru with a protective garment made of spiritual knowledge. Now that's very significant. Did you know that spiritual knowledge can protect you? Actually, it can, you see, because the material energy is there. It's very fiercely biting, trying to get us. Trying to fierce like a dog, biting, ruff, trying to get us. The material energy is always there, trying to get us. If we have the protection of Prabhupada's books, we see everything through the eyes of Prabhupada's books that protects us. It's the spiritual knowledge, the protective armor. So this means we should be learned, and we should know these books. We should read these books and know what's in these books, not just we distribute them or we put them on the bookshelf to gather some dust. We should regularly study. That's why we have Bhagwatam every class every morning. My grandmother is giving also a class every afternoon, and so many classes are going on all over the world in the ISKCON centers. This knowledge is really important. We have to become qualified. Here it's the Brahmins are the actual teachers of this knowledge. So in ISKCON, our duty is to become learned Brahmanas who can give guidance to the Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Shudras, how they can properly align themselves with Lord Sri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So become learned Brahman is a very important thing. And follow it also, not just theoretically. It's only theoretical, that's Brahman. But Vaishnava means he practices it also. That's not just some theory, but he lives it. With every thought, word, and deed, in all times, places, and circumstances, he lives the knowledge. That's the Vaishnava, you see. But there's many people are interested in becoming Brahmins. It's a big title in India now. Especially, I remember there was one Marquis of Zetland, or Papa pronounced it Zetland. There was this Marquis of Zetland. He wanted to become a Brahmin because it was a big title. He had a Marquis title in Britain, but now he wanted a title of Brahmin in India. You get a double, glorification. You're always a Brahmin also. Oh, Brahmin, big thing. So we asked Prabhupada's godbrother. He said, Swamiji, can you make me a Brahmin? And Prabhupada said, yes, no problem. You can make anything a Brahmin. No illicit sex, no intoxicating, no gambling. And Lord Zetland immediately said, impossible. So Prabhupada heard that pastime, and he was thinking, when I come to America, when I ask all those Americans, no illicit sex, no meat eating, no intoxication, no gambling, they will say impossible. But he was telling us this in Atlanta. I was sitting there at his feet when he said this, sitting right there at Prabhupada's feet. He said, he said, they will say impossible. Prabhupada said, but I think, let me try. When I heard Prabhupada say that, I went, wow, that's how we got saved, because Prabhupada said, tried. So I said, jai. And the whole room erupted in jai. That was a good jai. Now follow my jai. Because Prabhupada he thought it was impossible. But still, this is my duty. I must try to make those American people, those Westerners, Krishna consciousness. And who did Prabhupada send him? The hippies. Prabhupada turned the hippies and the happies who rejected the culture of their parents and was looking for some new peace and love culture, you see. The peace movement, the hippie movement, peace and love movement. Looking for some beautiful thing where flowers are more important than machine guns, you see. So the hippies were attracted. We tried every other ways to get high, illicit sex, LSD, marijuana, even big here in Austin was peyote cactus from the hill country. That was the big thing in Austin, the peyote cactus. So many things to get high. We tried to get high on this and that and this and that. But then Papa said, give up all those drugs and that illicit sex. Just get high on this. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Thousands of hippies tried it, and they said, yes, Maharaji's right. You got 10,000 disciples. And those 10,000 disciples sent them all over the world in fulfillment of Lord Chaitanya's order, prediction. Priti Vitte Atrayata Sarma. Priti Vitte Atrayata. In as many towns and villages as there are throughout the entire world, this Krishna conscious movement will be spread. So Prabhupada sent on these hippies and the happies, he sent them all over the world. He sent even one came here to Austin, Vishnu John Swami. He convinced many of us hippies to become happy. So this movement is a glorious movement. It's actually Krishna himself incarnating. The Hare Krishna movement is an incarnation of Krishna. When you associate with this movement, you're associating with the Supreme Personality of God, the source of all existence. Can you imagine? To be able to, if I could meet the president, just like I got a letter from the president one time. Wow, I got a letter from the president of the United States. To me personally, it's a big thing, a letter from the president. But would you imagine meeting the Supreme President of all? He was only in the office for a few hours. Now he's finished. Now they named healthcare after him, Obamacare. But just imagine that person is the Supreme President for all of eternity, all of existence. Of all the millions and billions of universes, everything is under his direction. You can have a direct connection with him. You see? Just imagine that, the auspiciousness of being in that situation. That's what Prabhupada gave us. He gave us the ability to be in direct contact with that Supreme Person as the Lord who knows everything, who controls everything. Ultimately, it's all under his control. You say that why all this craziness is going on? Because Krishna is giving us free will. He doesn't want robots. If you want to be served by robots, it's meaningless to be served by robots, you see. If they gave you a nice wife who's a robot, would you like to have, or a husband who's a robot, would you like to have a husband as a robot, a wife as a robot? No. You want a person who can reciprocate, have feelings and emotions, you see. So Krishna gave he created an unlimited number of living entities and gave them all the free will. Love me or leave me. So they had the choice. They could reciprocate love with them, or they go off and try to be Krishna themselves in their own little domain, like planet Earth or Mars or Jupiter. Even on Saturn there's living entities. You know that? Even on Saturn there's living entities. So they're all trying to enjoy separately from Krishna, you see. But this Earth planet is a very, very, this universe, this Earth planet is a very, very special planet. Because this is a planet because all this Earth is a special place. My Vrindavan is there. And for Lord Chaitanya, my Mayapur is there for Lord Chaitanya. So this is, we are very, very, can you imagine our unlimited good fortune to be born on planet Earth? in a time when a great empowered Shaktivish avatar, Srila Prabhupada is actually considered a Shaktivish avatar. He's given special powers by Krishna. He's a living entity who's empowered by Krishna. He's called Shaktivish avatar. A person who has specific powers to spark off a global spiritual revolution actually came here. He actually came to Texas. He came to Dallas. He didn't come. That's as close as he came. He came to Dallas. He wasn't fit, but he sent many letters to Austin. He sent many letters here. Actually, after Vishnu John left, Sri Galing was in charge, and he was thinking, we should close this Austin Center. And I told Prabhupada about this. Prabhupada, I don't think we should shut down this center in Austin. You told us, because Prabhupada had told me make our Austin Center a grand success. So Sri Galing wanted to shut it down. I complained to Prabhupada. And Prabhupada complained to Sri Galing that Sankarshan doesn't think we should close this center. Why are you doing this? Sankarshan says we should keep it open. Prabhupada quoted me because you mentioned it. So Prabhupada gave us a lot of, you can see the kind of loving dealings he had with us, to actually quote me. So he actually kicked me out. He didn't like me. I was too rough around the edges, so he sent me to Dallas. He kicked me out of Boston and sent me to Dallas. I sympathize with Manazi sometimes. I'm still a little bit rough around the edges sometimes. But anyways, Prabhupada quoted me. Prabhupada he had such loving feelings, and he even see a slight spark of devotion in somebody, he fanned a blazing fire. You see, that was Prabhupada's magic. Even a itty-bitty, teeny-weeny little spark, he could fan into a huge fire that could engulf the entire universe. That was Prabhupada's amazing potency, how he can empower his disciples to do so many things all over the world. It's amazing what they did in Vrindavan and Mayapur and so many countries, Malaysia, a Muslim country, can you imagine? Prabhupada did so many amazing things that Prabhupada did also in, what's that called? Pakistan, Pakistan. Can you imagine ISKCON in Pakistan? So this is Prabhupada's magic, you see. So Prabhupada is not actually dead and gone. He only appears to be dead and gone. You see. That's Maya's illusion. But actually, Prabhupada is still here with us. So we remember Srila Prabhupada. We read his books. We try to follow his instructions with love and devotion. Prabhupada is right here packed up tightly with us, blessing us with his mercy and empowering us to say something that is meaningful, even when we preach. You see, that's his power. You see, who are we? We're just some bum idiots. You see, we don't even know black from white. You see, but this great personality, the divine grace, Om Vishnu Pad Parama, Hamsapati Vajrakacharya Astatara Sadashi Sriman, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Tridanti called Swami Maharaj Prabhupada, the Founder-Acharya of ISKCON, that movement was going to completely inundate the whole world and bring Lord Chaitanya's prediction into complete fruition. So, Satjana Durjana Pangu Jada Anagana Prema Vanyaya Duvaila Jagatadajana. This Krishna conscious movement is a tidal wave that inundates the entire world, drowning everyone in this tidal wave of love of God. Doesn't matter if you're a gentleman, a rogue, lame, even blind. What to speak of even a blind man. You can't even read the books. That's the great power of this movement and the great power of his divine grace. Om Vishnu Pad Paramahamsa Parivajrakacharya Astatara Sadashi Sriman A.C. Bhaktivedanta Tridanti Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada. He was so kind that even there was a policy that nobody could write him except for the sannyasis, GBCs, and temple presidents. You see. But Prabhupada I was desperate. I needed to have that connection with Prabhupada, and I wrote him. He told me about the policy, but then he gave me an exemption. He said, if there's any urgent need, and I'm always happy to hear my beloved disciples. He was willing to put the policy on the side and let me approach him. Any urgent need, I had to talk to him. Even though just some brahmachari in some temple. I wasn't even the temple commander. Just, pot washer or whatever. Pot washer or whatever. I think I was doing the lunch program in Gainesville at that time, taking the lunch to the students every day. And in those days, we had all the hippies on the campus, all the Mayavadis. The latest incarnation of God showed up there on the campus to take the shot. Can you imagine? Our temple president, he's a powerful fighter, Amarenda. Now he's even a lawyer. He was a real fighter. You get out there and debate. You get out there and smash their mind-body philosophy. Smash their smithereens. I can remember some of those arguments that you found. It's amazing. He would just boom, boom, boom. Put him in their place. He was a very powerful debater, you see. So this process is simply wonderful. There's no doubt about it. And those who don't take advantage of it, what can I say about them? They're simply terrible. So don't be simply terrible by not taking full advantage of this process and embracing pure love of God as your only business with your every thought, word, and deed in all time, places, and circumstances. Don't be a simply terrible idiot. Embrace pure devotional service as your only business from now on through all eternity. That every thought, every word, and every deed in all times, places, and circumstances must give unlimited pleasure to my spiritual master, Krishna, and to the Vaishnavas. So, if we at least keep that meditation and that desire, it'll help us get over all of our rough edges that we have as neophytes. All these rough edges we have as neophytes. Smooth off the rough edges, polish them off, and get rid of them. This chanting actually, the more we chant, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, the more it polishes all the rough edges, get rid of them. Smooth it out, smooth it out, smooth out that conscience. Get rid of that lust, that anger, that greed, that madness, that illusion, envy, that laziness, that craziness. It's been torturing us for thousands and millions of lifetimes through the 8,400,000 species. Actually, the first birth we take here is Lord Brahma. Did you know you were Lord Brahma? You had a whole universe under your direction. Did you know that? You were a Brahma. You had a whole universe in your direction, but you weren't satisfied. One universe wasn't enough. I want to be the supreme. I want to be the supreme God, not some little Brahma with some picky, willy little universe under my control. So we're not happy as a Brahma. We tried this, we tried this, we tried that, we tried this, and all the way down to being an Indragopa germ, you see. We tried being a worm in the stool. How you could really enjoy being a worm in the stool, you see. There's plenty of stool out there. I can be a worm in the stool and enjoy in that way. We tried in so many ways to enjoy, and we were frustrated again and again and again. But now we have the greatest boon, this human life, Tato Brahma Jigyasa. Now you've got a human life. This is the time for self-realization, not for sleeping in the Bhagwatam class. This is the time for self-realization. So don't cheat yourself out of this process. Don't be an idiot or cheat yourself out of this, the unlimited boon of the human form. Don't cheat yourself. Take advantage of this process, and now my only business is to awaken pure love of God within my heart. I have no other business. That's my only business. I will do whatever is favorable for help me to awaken love of God in my heart, and whatever is unfavorable, I kick it out with food, flush it down the toilet, get rid of it. I'm only going to do that which is favorable for my Krishna consciousness from now on, and reject everything, every word, every thought, every deed that's unfavorable. Kick it out with boot. Don't let it ever come back again. Lock the door on your heart. Now only pure thoughts are allowed. Only pure words are allowed coming from my mouth. Only pure actions are allowed coming from my body. Make that determination. You always remember the little sparrow, where she's our Siksha Guru. Isn't she our Siksha Guru, the little sparrow? She was determined to dry up the ocean. Now, is it possible a sparrow, her egg was stolen by the ocean? Is it possible a sparrow could dry up the ocean, one drop at a time? Are you kidding? A little sparrow dry up the ocean? What a foolish little bird, 11. Let's see that stupid little bird. She thinks she can dry up the ocean. But guess what? The big brother, who's the big brother? Garuda. And he has the power to dry up that ocean within a second if he wants to do that. So Garuda came in and, okay, little ocean, little picayune ocean, who do you think you are taking my little sister's eggs? You better return them right now. I'm going to dry you up immediately. So even though we're little sparrows, you see, if we make that determination, because Prabhupada said, become perfect and understand the science of Krishna, become Guru and deliver the whole world. Prabhupada told us to deliver the whole world. Can you imagine? Your assignment to live in the whole world. Can you imagine that's your assignment? You say, well, that's not for me, that's for the whole movement. But actually it rests on every member's head. Every member of this movement is personally responsible to live in the world. Personally responsible for that. Every member of this movement is me to live in the world. I can't even get out of bed in the morning on time. Right? Can't even chant my rounds nicely. You get spacing out or falling asleep or not thinking about how I can do. Well, that's our duty. To whatever extent we're able to deliver ourselves, but as Guru Maharaj always reminds us, physician, heal thyself. To whatever extent we're able to deliver ourselves, to that extent we're empowered to deliver the world. So how much should we become empowered to deliver ourselves? 5%, 10%, 99%? No. We should be determined, I must become 100% Krishna conscious right now. I must kick out all the lust, the anger, the greed, the malice, illusion, envy. I must become completely, fully Krishna conscious right now. As Prabhupada ordered me in the letter. Now you become qualified to see Krishna face to face. That we should be pushing ourselves to that level. What does Brahmaji say? Premam janam charita bhakti valochane nasantak sadaiva hridayesha valokayanti. Yakshama shundaramachanya ganasvarupam govindamadi purusham Jamaham bhajami abharshukavinda the prime melody of Shama Sundar. Krishna himself with inconceivable, innumerable attributes from the pure devotee sea in our heart of hearts with the eye of devotion tinged with the saddle of love. Prabhupada said, not only do you see him within, they see him without also. Within and without, Prabhupada said. They see him both places. Can you imagine walking down the street in Austin and seeing Krishna standing there, smiling at you with his lotus face? Can you imagine coming to that level? Well, that's the level we're supposed to come to, y'all, as they say in Texas. That's the level we're supposed to come to. We can see Krishna face to face. Even when I'm doing my work, I should be able to see Krishna smiling on me, blessing me with his lotus eyes. That's the level we should come to. So the more we can approach that level, the more we can be empowered to attract these fallen souls. It's like yesterday with I was with the therapist at the seizure place, the epilepsy center, for like an hour. She was wiring my head, so I was preaching to her the whole time. Preaching. I mean, if I can tell you about our programs on Sunday, I gave her the address, I gave her the card, in this whole material existence. So we have to think how to reach out and get all these people in this neighborhood to come to our programs. How I can reach out and attract these people to become Krishna conscious. We're trying with our e-course. We have many Westerners have joined us in the e-course. But we're trying. We want locally now. How we can get people coming to our local center. We want to pack this place. So we get this new temple. We want to pack it with 1,000 people every Sunday. That's what we want to do. We're not happy with just a few families. Anyway, I'm talking too much. I better just be quiet and ask if there's any questions. See if we have anything. Yes, question.
Gurudev, you mentioned how fortunate we are to be on this planet. Lord Krishna appeared, Lord Chaitanya appeared here, Vrindavan is here, Mayapur is here, and then we've also had so many powerful acharyas come here. But when I think about this, I feel like this should be a spiritually heavenly planet. But then when we look around, we see all this garbage going on, totally opposite.
That's your duty to make it a heavenly planet. It's your duty to preach and make this a heavenly, turn this into a Vaikuntha planet. That's your duty.
But how is that even after so many, even God himself coming and purifying this planet?
It's the Kali Yuga. That's why. But there's a special boon in the Kali Yuga, that's Lord Chaitanya's movement. Predicted it's going to inundate the entire world. There's a 10,000-year era, which started with Lord Chaitanya's advent, over 546 years ago. There's a 10,000-year earring was this whole world going to become Krishna conscious. It's special. It's like there's what's called an Indian summer in the winter, a warm spell in the winter. Are you with us? It's a warm spell in the winter. You see, So that this Chaitanya era is a warm spell in the winter of Kali Yuga when the whole world will become Krishna conscious. See? This 10,000 year era, the whole world is going to become Krishna conscious. The whole planet will be like in the Satya Yuga. That's what's going to happen. So it's a very exciting time to be on this planet, to be a spiritual revolutionary who's sparking up a completely. Right now, the world is everything's upside down, turning the world right side up. It's a very exciting time to be here on this planet. Now we can be instruments in the hands of Lord Chaitanya for turning the world right side up. So go for it. When you chant your rounds, think of these things. I have to become a pure devotee, so Krishna can use me as an instrument for turning the world right side up. When you do your service, when you hear the Bhagwatam class, when you offer obeisances on all your devotional activities, you have to think, how can I do this in such a way that Lord Chaitanya can completely empower me to act as an agent for turning the world right side up? See if we have anything else. Here we have Hare Krishna Das. Is there spiritual possessiveness when dealing with other devotees exchanging material objects or money? Spiritual possessiveness. Actually, spiritual possessiveness means I belong to Krishna and Krishna belongs to me. Because I belong to him, he belongs to me. That's spiritual possessiveness. So if we deal with other devotees in a greedy way, that's if we're greedy in our dealings with Vaishnavas, with money or objects, we're greedy, then that's material possessiveness, not spiritual possessiveness. And therefore, does the name Hari refer to Apendra? Well, let's see. Let me see if we can. Hari, the incarnation. Yeah, it says here, Hari, the incarnation of the Supreme Personality known as Apendra. That's right. Anybody can ask verbally now. I think anybody must ask verbally. They can. We have a local one coming in. Yes.
Gurudev, it's a similar question as the last one. You also mentioned how this Sankarshan movement is an incarnation of Krishna.
Yes.
And we understand that Krishna is always pure, but then we can see that the movement is becoming adulterated. How to understand that?
Well, there's the original pure form. There's the pure form of Lord Chaitanya's movement, and there's the peripheral. There's the periphery where the impurities are there. Devotees not following their initiation vows. You see? Just like, here's an example. I had to be careful. Just like one of my disciples wants looking for a husband, right? So I announced it on my internet course, Talk for the Day, and I got about 100 offers. Some people not even initiated. Reading all this stuff. Blah, blah, blah. I have a college degree. My friend, blah, blah, blah. Finally, I got somebody who's initiated, and I says, but I need his horoscope. So we have to deal with all these contaminations that I have to ask him, I'm going to ask this devotee who is asking for a horoscope. Are you strictly fond of regulated principle? Are you chanting around steadily? So it's my duty as the spiritual master to see that my disciple is not polluted by someone whose association is not pure. So I know exactly what you're talking about. Do you want to know why is that? Why are there impurities?
So maybe if I understand correctly, is this right way to think that when we see impurity or when we see the adulteration going on, it's not really a part of the movement?
No, that's right. It's part of Kali Yuga. It's Kali Yuga going on. It's not the Chaitanya's movement. It's Kali Yuga. Kali is trying to get in and destroy it. So we have to be strong, determined, fight against these impurities. You see? To be determined, you see, that I must become pure, and I must preach. I must show the example of purity, and I must preach it also, push it forward in my preaching. We have to strictly follow Prabhupada's instructions. If anybody wants to, okay.
You said that we have to become pure 100% with every thought, word.
Yeah, that should be our desire, yes. Every time we chant our japa, we should be begging to have absolute purity, yes.
So, my question is it possible, like, in the sense, is it not that the bar always keeps raising? Like, the moment you try to become pure, the moment you're chanting pure, then there is more to achieve, Is it not that?
More what?
More to achieve?
Actually, we have something unlimited to achieve. Not that we have something to unlimited achieve right now, and that's pure love of God. That's already unlimited. To achieve pure love of God is unlimited desire. It's the ultimate perfection, greater than all the wealth of the world, all the powerful positions, of being a lord of 1,000,000 planets. It's greater than anything in the material world to achieve pure love of God. So we're already achieved going to that which surpasses any other thing in all of existence. We're already doing that. Does that answer your question?
The bar always keeps raising. We can't just be satisfied that yes, now I'm 100%.
We should never be satisfied until we're seeing Krishna face to face, eye to eye, every minute. And even then, we'll still want to increase. You see, how can I please him more? How can I please him more? How can I please him more? So now some type question has come in. Let's see if it came in. Okay. Which devotional activity attracts the mercy of Lord Chaitanya the most? Well, I could say preaching, or I could say deity worship. Actually, the quality is what really counts. You see? If somebody's doing the deity worship and somebody is out preaching, giving out a magazine, it actually depends on the quality of how you're doing it. It's the quality that counts. Okay, Rupa Manjari. Sometimes advanced devotees become oblivious to other jivatmas' pain and suffering, so they seem to be indifferent to others' jivatmas' feelings. Are they fixed in sambhava? No, those who are actually advanced, their hearts are bleeding with compassion to see the suffering living in this material world. Someone is not feeling compassion, it's a lack of their Krishna consciousness. Srila Manjari, please. How does one properly reciprocate with all the mercy coming? By absolute, total, complete surrender and pure loving relationships with every Vaishnava. Okay, see, we have any more local here? Yes.
And brother, it's a follow-up to this question about being 100% Krishna conscious. So we understand that even Krishna himself is not fully Krishna conscious because his cognizance is always competing with his ever-expanding.
He's always fully Krishna conscious, but that full Krishna consciousness is expanding.
Yes.
You can't say he's not fully Krishna conscious. That's not true. He is fully Krishna conscious, but his Krishna consciousness is ever expanding.
Yeah. So, okay. So my question is, as we understand that in the spiritual realm, everything is unlimited, and even we say that it's ever increasing bliss, right? So it's ever increasing Krishna consciousness also. So can we?
You're fully Krishna conscious, but you become even more fully Krishna conscious.
So you go beyond 100%.
Yeah, 1,000%, 10,000%, 1,000,000%, 10,000,000%. Goes on unlimitedly expanding. You're fully Krishna conscious, but he goes on expanding more and more and more. It never becomes boring or old. Well, I now fully understand about Krishna. It keeps expanding unlimitedly for all of eternity. How does one probably reciprocate all the mercy coming? Yeah, I just answered that. Let's see if anybody wants to verbally ask a question now. Anybody want to verbally ask? I'm willing. I'm getting my best to hear. Anybody want to unmute themselves and ask a question? They're welcome to do that. Or if the locals want to challenge me that I'm off the track, do you want to correct me? Then I'm saying something wrong. I'm off the track. I've gotten derailed by Maya. No challenges, no questions, no corrections. See if we have any more type questions. Nothing? That's it? Maybe we should end. 8:16. There's nothing else? Everyone's satisfied now? Ready to embrace pure devotional service and deliverance of the world? Are your only business?
Hare Krishna, Gurudev.
Okay, here's the question from him. Yes.
Grace to you, Guru Mata and Krishna Prabhupada. Gurudev, how to get better with being rough on the edges?
Yeah, by quality japa, by quality service, by quality relationships. There's 6 kinds of loving exchanges with devotees. Try to have nice loving exchanges with the Vaishnavas. That scripture is given the 6 kinds of loving exchanges, to hear submissively, there's many things given. Just try to always be becoming more and more fixed in proper loving relationships with the Vaishnavas, more and more fixed for properly chanting the holy name with full attention, the love and devotion. Just try to increase always your ability to dive even more deeper into the classes you're hearing or the classes you're giving. Always just try to increase in every single way. You're hearing, you're chanting, you're remembering, you're offering your prayers. Try to make everything more and more, always more devotional, more devotional. Even beg Krishna, my dear Lord Krishna, please bless me now. I can become an absolute pure devotee. You can ask directly Krishna for begging for pure devotion. Please bless me now. I can be, as I'm giving this class right now, I become an absolute pure devotee. You can see you standing face to face right in front of me. See if you keep begging. Please bless me. I can have perfect loving relationships with the Vaishnavas, with my husband or my wife, or my child, or even my dog if I have one. Whatever our situation is, let me become perfect in that situation. Just keep begging for them. Intensely begging for it. That answer your question a little bit?
Yes, Gurudev. Thank you very much.
Anybody else have a question locally, typed in, or spoken? I'm ready. You ready? There's nothing. We'll go ahead and stop here. We thank you for tuning in. Hare Krishna, Gurudev. All right, coming.
Hare Krishna Gurudev, this is Sundar Gopal Das. Please accept my humble obeisance. All glories to Gurudev and Guru Mataji. Gurudev, I just want to ask one question in connection to the answer that you have given to Amul Puran Prabhu regarding the quality of service which attracts Mahaprabhu's mercy.
Quality of what?
Quality of service that we are doing.
Okay. Quality of service.
But I have found that you always encourage us for preaching.
Absolutely.
But then how to understand that the preaching or like deity worship or doing our sadhana, like doing our chanting and ultimately preaching. But you said that if someone is doing deity worship,
whoever you instruct him in the teaching, it's a direct order from Lord Chaitanya to every one of us. Wherever you meet, instruct him in the teachings of Krishna, and this order you become Guru and live with the people of this world. Every one of us has that responsibility to live with the world. As many people as we can deliver. It's a duty every one of us has, and given directly by Lord Chaitanya. So even the power washer should take up every opportunity he has for preaching. Preaching opportunity comes, he's very eager. The preach to the garbage man, anybody, everybody. Anyway we can, just like I'm on the phone, talking to insurance agents. I would say, well, chant Hare Krishna, be happy. I used to throw it in, let them hear it. Even doing mundane matters and giving insurance quotes, I say, well, chant Hare Krishna, be happy. Thank you very much. So I always let them hear the name of Hare Krishna and see if they get purified by hearing the holy name. We should take every opportunity we can to inject Krishna consciousness into the suffering souls of this material world.
Okay, Gurudev, I understood. Thank you.
Right. Anything else? Everybody satisfied now? Ready to take over the world for Prabhupada? Okay, we'll stop here. We thank everybody for tuning in. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Sankirtan Revolution ki jai. Goodbye.